Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode, what is this, 8 of Bear Down Breakdown podcast.
Indeed is.
I am your host, Ronan Clark, joined again with Mr. Gustavo Arriaga. Gustavo, do you want to give us a rundown on all the recent news that's been going on?
I do. So welcome back, everybody. I'm your co-host, Gustavo Arriaga. We made it back 2 weeks in a row. No more flaking. We got a lot of news going around the NFL world today. Recently, like 3 minutes ago, Travion Henderson has agreed on a fully guaranteed deal with the contract with the New England Patriots, which is really, really interesting
Oh,
because
yeah, I just
somebody
saw that
else,
notification.
yeah, somebody else in our show will be talking about also agrees on a fully guaranteed deal with the Bears. There's been kind of a trending topic going around. A lot of teams at some point, those 30 out of 32 rookies were not signed because the Texans ruined it for everybody. They signed rookie wide receiver Jaden Higgins out of Iowa State to a fully guaranteed contract with a player who's never played a snap before just because
Long.
they wanted him to feel, I guess, what they were saying is they didn't want them to feel like they had to hold out. Mean, you're a rookie, so I mean, I don't really know what you're holding out for, but you know what? Texans ruined everything, so now teams are following suit. And I think it's the first time in a long time since we've seen something like this that rookies are kind of giving these teams problem hassling for fully guaranteed money. And I think it kind of stems from there's a chance they never play a snap in the league because of injury.
Shamar Stewart.
Gives up on
Ugh.
yeah, I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
if they're following
Shamar.
suit because of him, Shamar Stewart is really the reason this is also happening. Like he
Mhm.
wants fully guaranteed money from them in case he gets hurt and he can get paid for it. And teams are like, hey, I want that treatment too. And unfortunately, that's what we have going down. And Ronan over here spoke to our NFL contract specialist, Riley O'Mastromanio. Can you tell me what you learned from him as well, kind of bouncing off of contracts?
Yeah, I mean, just at least from what I've learned from him, and then from what we have now, it's just like these kind of contract trends tend to like come in waves, and then everybody gets kind of involved in that wave, and so I really didn't like it. I think you kind of have to earn that guaranteed money, at least in my mind. I feel like, hey, you should earn what you're being given, but they are rookies. They're trying to secure themselves a good financial future, and I don't blame them at all, especially with the amount of rookies that will get injured and just straight up go out of the league. Like unless you're a first round pick, you don't really get that second chance, which is really unfortunate, but it's just a fact of the league and something that they have to really accept going into the NFL. But I think especially with the NIL stuff, they're really starting to fight back. Like it feels like there's a lot more power to the player instead of the organization, and I think that that's something that we really don't factor in is that the NIL stuff, it feeds over. Like it's a new generation of people that are going to have new kind of headspaces about what they want, what they don't want. And I think that that's really gonna it's impacted a lot.
Yeah, the NIL deals, people always say like, oh, it has nothing to do with NFL, but it kind of does. At some
Mm.
aspect, you're spoiling the
Who was saying
players.
that? Yeah.
A lot of people,
Like,
they're like, NILs of doing this, and somebody's like, oh,
there's
but it's
people
like
who are
ruling.
making more off of NIL money than they would have ever made in the NFL.
Actual
So
league
it's like,
itself.
yeah, it's ridiculous. I think, it's good because then it incentivizes teams to give a bit more money and also be like, hey, now we have to compete with people in college because that's probably the same big market. But yeah, it's a whole situation, and there's a lot to kind of pick apart there. But it's going to be entertaining to see how the league deals with that, or how the NCAA goes about dealing with that. But man,
Yeah.
my eyebrows, it looks like they've been like shaved off. What is going on? Like,
What
I
you
go
do
back
to him,
here,
buddy?
I'm like, no, I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. The brows are like, damn, I just have really light eyebrows. I think that's it. Yeah.
They might have
I'm
sewed it
not
back
going
on there for you.
bald, bear down, breakdown fans. There's no
Mm-mm.
balding going on here.
Mm.
But so Luther Burden, $10 million, 4 years, fully guaranteed. That's a big thing. You had Ozzy who signed. You have a lot of people who have just signed on the Bears
Shamar
and
Turner, the real Shamar.
Shamar, the real Shamar, yeah, the better Shamar out of Texas A&M. But it's like, yeah, it's a whole thing, and
We're gonna
yeah,
see a massive shift going on.
yeah, I think it's almost like a little bit of a rebellion.
And I want to touch on that if you let me, Ronan. So it's kind of odd because if you look at it, a lot of people already are not fans of Birdie because of character concerns. but he's beyond happy to be in Chicago. And I just feels like
Hmm.
it feels really nitpicky with this fan base sometimes, and I feel like that's why people are never content with what we do. And I can't wait to touch on that in this episode with our special guest Nick Roti because
Yeah.
of Ryan Poles, and people are kind of divided on him. So I want your opinion on Ryan
And
Poles before we
Poles?
kind of move
I
on.
like
Yeah,
him.
Poles as a
Yeah.
gentleman, like general GM guy,
Yeah.
like in comparison to everybody else.
Yeah, I like Poles. I think that he's doing the best with what he can, and that's really all that you can ask from him. Is like, if he comes in, he does what he can with the roster, which he has, and you just make the most of it. There's not really much else that you can do, and he just has to stay true to his plan, which is to take the North and never give it back, and I doubt that that's going to happen, especially with how competitive the division is. But,
Mhm.
it is what it is. I think
And
Poles is good. Yeah.
I like him. I feel like people are getting too mad at him because they're like, "Oh yeah, he's done some dumb moves." But
Mhm.
realistically, how much of those moves were actually him and not the front office? Like we know that George McCaskey is infamous for putting his hand and his thumb on the scale for no reason.
I
Like
mean,
they
Howie
were
Roseman could have had Justin Jefferson. Nobody brings that up. Like,
exactly, but it doesn't matter because they finally gave him a chance to do whatever he wanted with the team, and look what happened. Let
Mhm.
Poles do what he wants with the team,
Yeah,
and they just let it fly by. It just feels really nitpicky with his fan base because they find any sort of reason to get mad at Poles, and it just feels really unnecessary because it really doesn't feel like they should be pinning it onto him too much when all GMs make mistakes. Like,
yeah.
look at that, like
He's a young guy too, and they just locked him into another deal as well that aligns him with Johnson. So if Johnson messes up, it's over for us.
exactly. So, and that's what Ben Johnson wanted. He said, if I'm going to come here to Chicago, I am completely open to aligning with you guys. And that's what he's looking to do. He wants a contract that's going to be aligned. He wants people that are going to be his needs. They're aligned. They have the full, both same contracts, so they both can work directly together. And it really feels like this is what Poles wants. This is his team. He has his quarterback. He has his head coach. He has his coaching staff. And he has Kevin Warren backing him fully. This is what this team needed because that staff they had before, oh my God, it genuinely felt like none of them were competent. Like I cannot tell you one person on that staff last year that Eberflus hired that was competent. Can you? Can you hire
No,
anybody? They hired
no.
Mr. CP boy, Allen. What was his name?
Alan
Allen.
Williams.
Yes, dude, the DC. Oh my God, man. He's
Oh
pizza boy.
God,
They decided
he's
to hire
pizza
him
boy.
and they were
He
like,
had
yeah, let's go
he
ahead and
had
reigns.
CP.
Yeah, that's what he ended up getting caught for. That's why they fired him.
Oh man,
That's if
bear
that's not
down.
yeah, if that's not really like the Bears under Eberflus in a nutshell, what is? You know what I mean? And then
Yeah,
they hired that
CP on the Bears.
Jesus
Oh God.
Christ, man. And then they also had
You got to
what's
you
his
got to
name?
move your
Something
camera a
Washington.
little bit. You got to move
Oh,
your camera a little bit. Yeah.
my
Are
apology.
you just is your laptop just on your lap?
Yeah, I'm not in my home office and my chair is missing. So I kind
You
of
got
just
to
have
get
to
a
hold it on my
desk.
lap.
You got to get a desk, dude.
I have a desk, but I left it in my apartment. So
Oh man.
yikes. We're
Oh
running a little bit
no.
slim here, but it's okay. I got the Bears liqueur here.
Yeah. Well, our guy Nick Rodi has just joined.
All right, here we go. We got our guy in.
All right, Mr. Rodi, how are we doing?
Good, fellas. How you doing?
Great, great.
Happy to have you.
Yeah.
Happy to be here. Happy to be here. I literally just ran from a bus because my company decided to take the afternoon off and go to the Cubs game, which was electric. And
Oh,
I was like, oh
sweet.
shoot. Yeah, so it's been a big day. Do you guys go to DePaul? Because when I got the link, I was like, why is
Hmm.
DePaul doing a
Yeah,
game? Very cool.
yeah.
We do, we
DePaul
do. We had to send it to them.
students. Yeah.
Nice guys. Very cool. I live over in Wicker Park, so I'm not too far from you guys.
Oh, no way.
Nearby.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
right
by
by you
him,
guys.
not me. Not me. I'm in
Yeah, this guy's all the way down in
Streeterville.
Streeterville.
Hmm.
Oh wow, so you're
Yeah.
downtown.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
guy's
it's like
downtown.
it's like
So
right near Navy Piers, so that it's a fun thing where like family will visit me and like be like, okay, guys, we'll just like go to Navy Pier for the day, and it's like there's nothing to do at Navy Pier. The one thing about Chicago that I never understood was like Navy Pier. It's like a boardwalk. Like, have you ever been on like a boardwalk where it's literally just like a street. Like, there's nothing to do there besides just drink. Like,
Sounds
I
like
never
my kind of
understood
place.
it. Oh
My kind of
yeah,
place.
yeah. I mean, as an adult, I can, but like, all the other days of the week where you don't have anything to do and you're not going to go and get drunk in the middle of the day, you can't really do that. But
You could if you
Mr.
want.
Rhoda, it is truly a pleasure to have you on here. Like, this has been a long time coming. Gustavo and I have been fans of yours and the Just Another Year Chicago for like a long time now. That's been like our main news source. It's been you, and then it's been, God, it was like Swifty at one point who we've had on. So it's an honor to have you on, man. This is so cool.
Thank you for having me, guys. I am excited to be here. Luther Burden was just signed, so we are.
Hmm.
It's a good time to be on this show right now, isn't
I
that?
think Gustavo has a question about that too.
I do. Funny story. I was so glad he rescheduled because we would have had to brought up the news in the middle of our original show time. So he wasn't a fully guaranteed deal. And I just wanted to touch on that. People feel really divided about the fully guaranteed deals with the second round picks, especially receivers. What are your thoughts on fully guaranteed deals for a guy who hasn't even played a snap in the NFL?
I love it. I think that it's the new. I mean, like think about it. The Browns and the Texans both signed the 33rd and the 34th pick to fully guaranteed. Luther Burden in a lot of drafts was considered to be a potential top pick. You know what I mean?
Um, I'm gonna make sure do you guys hear me better, by the way?
There
That's
we go.
okay.
I
Yes,
was
that was
wondering. I
so
was
much
like,
Okay.
better.
I was like,
Okay.
where's the mic?
I was like, yeah, what's going on here? So going back to your question real quick, is that the fact that he was a projected first round pick, he lost $8 million minimum, depending on where he ended up getting picked up. So he would have been fully guaranteed. So you want to keep that guy as happy as possible. Well, guess what? Now he's going to be ecstatic because he's getting 10.96 million over the next 4 years, and along with it, a bigger signing bonus. So he's got to be pumped. So I'm happy about it.
Yeah, guaranteed money is always great. That's something that you usually don't get unless you're like a veteran player. So I kind of like the trend too. Like I feel like people were giving Shamar Stewart a bit of a hard time, but I think that at some point, I was even arguing with somebody about it. I was like, you kind of have to earn that money. But then, I think Gustavo made a good point. It's like, oh, if you get injured, like what happens? Well, you're out of the league and you don't have guaranteed money. I was like, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. Like if I went to work and my work was dependent on my body and I didn't have that guaranteed money, like I'd be like, yeah, pay me. But very interesting. It's very interesting. Here, I gotta pull up the Google Doc because I was initially on my desktop
Yeah, this
here.
guy's out here wasting time here. But I want to touch on
What?
that because I feel like Jaden Higgins and the Texans kind of started this trend here. And some people are really not happy with it. I think it's a great thing to do because one, you really give these guys some leverage and they go out there and they're like, hey, I want to give it my all. And if something does happen to me, at least I can set my family up and myself for generations of wealth. And it stems further than that because you've seen players go down and they lose that money, or you see them like play a snap on there and it's completely gone. Or like some players don't even get a chance and they haven't even earned the contract and it just all goes to waste. And we all know how cutthroat the NFL can be. So I just thought this was a good overall move, especially the fact that they're all signed today now. I just thought it was fantastic.
Pretty electric on a Friday too. Like
Yeah.
what better way? And then so the news broke just to give you guys a little bit of a insight. The news broke at Wrigley, and I was sitting there and I was chatting with a couple people that were sitting next to me, and they're like, "Yo, they signed Burden," and literally our entire section, like everyone is on the Bears, which is what's exciting right now for this city. I mean, you can tell like there's a new kind of wave of excitement. People are really behind this team. Last year, I guess you could say that, but I think that it's a massive move. It also sends a wave to anyone else that could come to this team, right? Like, the Bears trade up or anything like that. It also sends a message to veterans like, okay, they're willing to pay like anybody to make sure they're happy. That's big for this team. So I'm ecstatic that we were able to get this deal done.
Well, on that topic, then, how are you feeling about this upcoming season? You're saying everybody's all excited. We all got this, the Chicago energy. It's back. This is how I felt after that one bowl season. So, how are you feeling about this
Yeah.
season coming up?
I think that a lot of people, I said it last year. I had to take a step back, and I admit that I was a little bit fanboying last year, like overwhelmed that like, okay, this could be a good year. But the fact that we have an offensive line, we have actually three head coaches on our coaching staff. Eric Bieniemy, two-time Super Bowl champion offensive coordinator. On top of that, too, he was a head coach at UCLA. You have Ben Johnson, who's now your head coach, and you have Dennis Allen, who's a two-time head coach. Some guys are meant to be coordinators. Dennis Allen's one of them. So you have three guys that know how to lead a team into battle. Along with that, too, are all very good at what they do. Developing quarterbacks and Ben Johnson, Dennis Allen leading a defense, and Eric Bieniemy just pretty much being an offensive guru, especially in the running back room. I'm pumped about this team. I think this team is going to shock a lot of people, and I'm looking forward. I just want them to start playing football, man. I'm tired of waiting. I want to see what they do.
Yeah, next week we get minicamp.
Tomorrow, rookies
Oh,
report.
tomorrow.
Tomorrow
Oh,
already. That's why they're signing so many
oh,
today because they can show
Yeah.
up tomorrow. Once they get the contract, they're all in. I don't know if you saw the recent news, but Travion Henderson actually received a fully guaranteed deal as well. So a lot of teams are giving these fully guaranteed deals. It's not just the Bears. It feels like a lot of these teams are following suit and giving these rookies kind of what they want because they're realizing times are changing. It's not the old times anymore. They want their money.
Yeah. I mean, like back in the day, like a $3 million contract went way further than a $10 million contract does now. Like 30 years ago, when those guys were getting those $3 million deals, they would have to play for them, but two, $3 million again went a lot further. So like you guys were saying, they're investing in their future, their family, everything. They want to know that if it doesn't work out, at least all the hard work they put in helps set up their family for future. So I couldn't agree more. When you guys said that, I was like, yes, that's exactly why. And the NFL has changed for the good in that way.
I think it's great. People complain about it because they're like they have to earn it. They haven't played a snap in there. Like this is not deserved. I was like, you got to consider everybody's goal in life is financial stability, and this is kind of what they are going for. And when you look for financial stability, you want to know that you can get that, especially from a very physically enduring job, technically, because we all know NFL is a business. Like it's very cutthroat. That they're going to be set up for life, and this is something that a lot of rookies are looking for from here on out.
Yes, sir. I'm happy that they did it, and I don't know if you guys saw, but Ozzy Trapilo also got a really nice contract, 2 years fully
yeah.
guaranteed. The rest of it 72% guaranteed in the last 2 years. So he's got to work for it, but at least he's got 2 years of it, and I'm pumped about that guy too. I'm sure we'll talk about it in a little bit, but it's
Yeah, that's
a
a
good
that's
time.
a smart contract too. Like, especially if he
Very
doesn't
smart.
fit into that role of tackle. Like, I feel like because we were just talking about it about our opinions on Ryan Poles, and I would love to hear your opinion about it. But I feel like he's done the best with what he can. And I had brought up the fact that everybody talks about Howie Roseman as the gold standard, but he missed out on Justin Jefferson. Like that would be a very damning thing that a lot of people they use that Chase Claypool trade, but like. So, like, if you can be a guy like Howie Roseman and miss out on Justin Jefferson and still find success, I feel like that's a really big thing. But I want to know how you feel about Ryan Poles.
I think his record doesn't speak to how good he's been as a GM. He completely revamped the cap space. He completely changed the culture of this team. He made the first midseason firing when needed of a head coach. Everything that Ryan Poles has done has put this team in the position for longevity. It's not like when Pace was a part of the Bears. It's not like when Phil Emery was a part of the Bears. They would band-aid, like get big names and be like, okay, we're going to be good for 2 years. The Bears have the best cap space possible over the next 3 seasons amongst big market teams. Along with that, too, you have all your guys under contracts. Your entire offensive line is locked up for at least the next 3 seasons, minus Braxton Jones. But you have someone backing him up potentially. And then the defense is all paid. I mean, look at the contract of Joe Tooney and Jalen Johnson. Highway robbery. At the end of the day, Ryan Poles has done a great job, and this team is ready to make some moves. So I give him, if we were to give an A through F grade, I give him a B plus. The Chase Claypool trade, the Nate Davis signing definitely is a big shadow, but every GM makes a mistake. Tell me when there's a perfect GM. I will say that, put it on my gravestone that I was wrong. But there is not a perfect GM out in the world. I mean, I can't name one GM that has not made at least one mistake in their career.
Yeah, that's very true. I think Gustavo had another question about one of Ryan Poles' moves that I really liked, Andrew Billings. Do you want to shoot that one off to him?
I do, yeah. We asked that Polish question because he did sign that extension, kind of talking about alignment
Hmm.
with Ben Johnson. And you actually spoke about it on your Twitter that you already, enjoy his presence on there. And now bringing him with Dennis Allen, Grady Jarrett, and a slimmed down Javon Dexter, maybe potentially playing him on the outside. Like, how do you feel about this D line in general? How productive they can be, considering they've been kind of a weak spot for this team the past couple of years?
I think that Andrew Billings losing him was a huge loss I think that Andrew Billings, I mean, like the tweet said, they literally got twice as worse without one player. And Andrew Billings is only getting paid 3.33 million this year. The fact that he's a veteran, he's going to help out Shamar Turner. He's already helped out Javon Dexter. Now he's got some help with Grady Jarrett and all those other guys, and then Dennis Allen. This defensive line is stacked. Andrew Billings is the man in the middle. I think Montez Sweat's going to benefit from him being back too, because Montez Sweat was actually having a decent season before Billings got hurt. Now pressure's off of him. You got Dio on the outside. Javon could potentially play that edge. At the end of the day, a lot of good players here, but Andrew Billings is that glue guy in the middle. And for the money that we're paying him, highway robbery as well. Ryan Poles did a really good job with his contract too.
Yeah, and another thing that he's done a really good job of on is that O-line revamp that we've been talking about. I just want to like ask how you feel about that because the way that we've revamped this O-line is ridiculous. Like we went from easily a bottom 15, bottom 5 unit to like top 10. Like we have some talents that I would have never thought would have been Bears. Like I would have never thought that we would trade for people like that. I thought we would be stuck in the mediocrity of bad offensive line, but here we are. Now we got a good line. So how are you feeling about it?
I think that the Joe Tooney trade really put things over the top. I was a little skeptical about Jonah Jackson uh, because of the fact that like he's had one good year, but that one good year was under Ben Johnson, which is like so key. And I think LA was just not the scheme for him. So that was good. But the Drew Dahlman deal, I don't know if you guys know this, but Drew Dahlman literally took less money than what Atlanta offered him, according to reports,
Yes.
to come to Chicago. Like players know, I mean, ball knows ball. And like that, Drew Dahlman is arguably the best center in the league when healthy. If you have a guy that's taking less money to come to a team in the part of his career where he's only going to get one more big contract, he clearly sees that this team is going to win. And Dan Rauscher, I think, is the most underrated person that the Bears brought in. Offensive line coach out of Tulane last year, but he's created 6 Pro Bowlers over the last decade, all 5 of them when he was with the Saints. And guess who he was with? Dennis Allen. At the end of the day, like the Bears' offensive line from depth to starters to coaching is a million times better. And the scheme that Eric Bieniemy, Ben Johnson, Dan Rauscher are all going to put together for the running backs, I think DeAndre Swift's going to benefit the most out of the entire situation. But then the rest of the room as well. Kyle Monangai, Rashawn Johnson, all those guys. So it's a big benefit at the end of the day, how good of a deal that they did, bringing in all these guys, elite staff to say the least, and even better starting offensive line.
I've been saying that about DeAndre Swift. I'm so glad somebody finally said that because that was where he was like the most successful. Besides the Eagles, which is the caveat, where they have like the best offensive line in the league. Yes, thank you. Because when you have that success with the guy that helps scheme you, why wouldn't you go back there? And that's why, like, that's been my explanation. All the dinguses who are like, oh, why don't we like sign a running back? Why don't we get a running back? It's like, we have a running back. We have a good running back who's been good on almost every team he's been on. He wasn't good because we had idiots running our staff. Like and we also had Walmart greeters as like our offensive line. So it was ridiculous. I was telling were you able to get in on the episode last week? No, with That's Good Sports. Right,
No,
Gustavo?
no.
No. I was talking
was
to
on.
Oh, Gustavo,
Gustavo, but
sorry.
yeah.
Yes, I was on there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we were talking about how like yeah, we didn't have any of like the support elements to be good and have those good players actually shine because there's like good players that are dependent on those average players to kind of propel them, and there's the great players that'll kind of like it doesn't really matter, they'll still perform. And I think DeAndre Swift is one of those like good players that when you put him around a lot of average guys who are just good enough, like he's going to perform. Like that's what, yeah, it's crazy. And I think Ben Johnson has now put really good guys on the offensive line, and that's exciting. It's a
I
big
think
prospect.
the one thing that I think so many people are missing is that DeAndre Swift played, like you guys were saying, against one of the playing behind one of the worst offensive lines in football, probably over the last decade. Walmart greeters, great way to put it. I think that the other part of it too is that he literally had his most yards from scrimmage ever in the NFL last season. And people are like, oh, yeah, he had a crappy year. What more do you want? 3 different offensive coordinators, his running back coach. I think it was Thomas Brown. And Thomas Brown was trying to run the entire offense, then become a head coach within 3 weeks. DeAndre Swift had 4 games of 100 plus or more yards. Bears were winning, but also his touches took a significant dip, especially with Shea Waldron being, I like that you said dingus. I don't know if you guys watch Dr. Steve Brule. Great reference right there. But like at the end of the day, DeAndre Swift's a good freaking running back, man. We paid him big money because he's good. And Ben Johnson did not trade him from Detroit. If Philadelphia is going to come make an offer for him, they're going to make an offer for him. Teams just don't give up good running backs like that. Yes, they brought in David Montgomery, but guess what? Ben Johnson did not say like, oh yeah, I hate DeAndre Swift. I don't want him on my team anymore. No. Dan Campbell was the head coach. Ben Johnson wasn't the GM. At the end of the day, I think that's a ridiculous comment. And Ben Johnson is super high on DeAndre Swift, or else he would have shipped him off already. DeAndre Swift's in for a big year, man. I'm pumped about it, especially with this offensive line. I think DeAndre Swift's in for a huge year.
Yes. We have some DeAndre Swift truthers finally. I felt like I was the only DeAndre Swift truther out there. That's great. That is good to hear. All right,
No, so
Gustavo, I think you have a Williams or Dunze question here. But yeah, what you
I
said?
do.
no, go ahead. Go ahead. I was just agreeing with you guys. I'm excited
Okay.
about this question.
Yeah. So I feel like this is kind of the biggest point. Like these are our main two guys. They were basically drafted together last year. We know this. Both in the top 10 together, right? You spoke about it. You're a fan of it. You emphasize so many times about this Williams and a Dunze connection. Now that they're going to have a whole offseason together to train, they're going to be with Ben Johnson. Can you kind of break down what you've seen from them and your prediction for this duo? Like out of all the duos you've seen, especially kind of like the Jamar and Burrow kind of duo, or do you see them as like a more average type of duo since they're still learning, or what do you kind of expect for them to do, especially in such a big year for these two?
If we're speaking comparison, I think that Burrow and Chase is a really good comparison. Now, I think that they're going to create their own name for themselves. Rome has put on at least, I would say, 5 to 10 pounds of muscle, which is tough to do, especially with his, he's a taller guy, 6'3". He's a big dude. Ninth overall pick. You're the ninth overall pick for a reason. What we saw, what he did at Washington is what he's going to be able to do with a quarterback like Caleb Williams. And yes, he had Michael Penix, which is great. And obviously that's working out for Atlanta pretty well. But now that they have an offensive mastermind in Ben Johnson, a young guy in Declan Doyle, then again, Eric Bieniemy is going to be a bigger consultant on this wide receiver room. But Antoine Randall L is your assistant head
Yes.
coach. And on top of it, too, he's your wide receiver coach. He's already bonding super well with these guys. And Antoine Randall L, sure, he wasn't like a superstar in the league, but in college, pretty good guy. Some guys are meant to be coaches. Antoine Randall L is going to help Ben Johnson. That's the reason why they brought him over from Detroit. He's going to help Ben Johnson make Caleb Williams into a stellar quarterback. And who's his wide receiver too right now? Rome Odunze. So he's going to get a ton of touches. They're going to put him on a lot of different special screenplays. At the end of the day, like, kid's a baller. I'm right now. So let's start with Rome, because I've been hitting on Rome pretty deep. And I'm sure we can file into the Caleb conversation depending on how you guys want to go about it. But Rome, I have him at 850 plus lock. Could be 1,000-yard receiver depending on things, but I got 850 plus on him for sure. I got 10 receiving touchdowns. 4 of them are going to be red zone. 6 of them are going to be deep balls, because Rome is going to have that ability now in the trust from his coordinators to get good separation. And on top of it too, we saw it against Indianapolis. We saw it against Seattle. We saw it in various different games, how important Rome is to Caleb. Those two are Mario and Luigi in a good way. Those two are going to definitely eat up some super mushrooms. I was going to say mushrooms. That's a drug. We don't do drugs on this show. And at the end of the day, they're going to be really good together. Rome also now has DJ Moore, who's going to explode in Ben Johnson's offense. But then Colston Loveland and Cole Kmet over the middle, taking pressure off the middle. So now you have to worry about the safety covering the tight ends. And then Rome's going to be able to do whatever man route you want, straight, left, right, doesn't matter. Rome's going to cook up some defenses. That's why I got him at 850 plus, 10 receiving touchdowns. And I'm pumped about it. I know we'll get into Caleb in a second, but I think Rome is going to be breakout player of the year in the NFL. He has the ability for it.
Nick,
No,
you
I
know
just
ball,
gotta
man.
ask.
You know
Oh, I
ball.
just
Like
gotta ask real quick
absolutely.
though. So, do you think that with all the talent that we have on our receiving core, the tight ends, the running backs, do you think it's too many mouths to feed? Like, because the thing about Antoine Randall L is like, yeah, he's a coach and he's doing great with bonding with all those guys, but like, how do you individually, like, who do you focus on? Who do you think he's like giving more attention to developing right now? Do you think it's like
So
Rome? Do you think it's Luther? Do you think it's even DJ?
So DJ and Rome are going to be priority because you guys got to think about it. DJ has 5 more years left on his contract. He had 2 years left on his original deal with the Bears. Then they did the 4 year contract extension. He's not going anywhere. And the fact of how the market's exploding and what we're paying him, it's going to look like pennies on the dollars in 2 years. So, I mean, he got paid. He agreed to the contract. That's another thing I'm sure we can talk about with Jalen Johnson's contract situation. But DJ Moore, priority number one. That's your highest paid guy. Right behind him, though, is Rome Odunze. These two have been hanging out. They've been, getting along. Rome still has 3 years left on his rookie contract, and he's going to want to develop because he's betting on himself. But I'm looking at this Bears wide receiver room right now. Samori Torre, who came last season, practice squad player. Don't have to worry about him. Tyler Scott's on the bubble, arguably. A lot of money that could be saved there. JP Richardson, practice squad player. Amalade Zaccheaus, really excited about that guy. More of a slot, though. But if you look at the Bears wide receiver room, I'm going to go down it real quick. Luther Burden or Miles Boykin, 6'3". He's probably going to be a practice squad guy, if we're going to be honest. Luther Burden, 6 foot. Devin Duvernay, or special teams guy. Will be used as a wide receiver, though. 5'11". John Jackson, 6 foot. DJ Moore, 6 foot. Rome Odunze, 6'3". Then you have one other guy that is above 6 foot on this roster, and that's J-Day Walker, an undrafted rookie free agent out of Texas A&M. Big guy, fast, probably a practice squad player or a special teams guy. So you need to make Rome your big wide receiver that's going to go up in the red zone and get passes, jump over smaller defenders, and with his blazing speed, go downfield and beat out defenders. Rome is priority number 2 for Antoine Randall L. And arguably for Ben Johnson. Even though Ben Johnson's a tight end guy, Declan Doyle is a tight ends coach for the Broncos, the Saints, and the Iowa Hawkeyes. That's how he's going to develop in an offensive coordinator. Exactly what Ben Johnson did. So he's going to worry about those mouths to feed. Caleb is going to go to his guy that he knows, though, and that's Rome Odunze, DJ Moore, and Cole Kmet. And then everyone else will feast as time goes on.
I guess so, yeah. Well, that's good. I mean, at least we know that there's priority being placed, and they have the time with Luther. They have a little bit more time with Rome. But yeah, I like that kind of like the clock is ticking with DJ. We need to get the most out of him while he's young. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to
Yeah.
add on to that. Like, Nick, you absolutely know ball. And I'm so glad you brought up his jump ball ability because there was a stat I saw of him coming out of college. He had over Marvin Harrison Jr., by the way, the highest contested catch rate out of the whole college football nation over a guy like Marvin Harrison. That is ridiculous. And you do not get better than one of the cleanest prospects that we've seen at a wide receiver in a while. And he was over him. His hands are so surefire. Like, you absolutely have to build him up. And if I recall properly, like so many clutch drives that we've had with Caleb, whether they've been ruined by Eberflus and other guys and whatnot, have been because of Rome. Vividly remember that Green Bay game where we lost with that block kick and that massive fourth down conversion. Who was there both times? Rome on that scramble on third and forever. Rome again on that fourth and forever deep ball to set us up in a field goal range. Rome and Caleb were already clicking as the year went on. And I'm only excited to see them just keep pushing and pushing and pushing because his guys are so young as rookies, their clutch genius click like that. Like they were just getting the ball, firing on all cylinders. It was just a beautiful sight to see.
Couldn't agree more. I remember that. I was so angry after that game.
Yeah, we
Like
should
they
have
all
won
played,
after that.
but we wouldn't have gotten Ben Johnson. We wouldn't have gotten Colston Loveland.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that wouldn't have happened. So everything happens for a reason. But at the end of the day, yes, I think we were all very upset after that game.
Did you expect us to get Colston Loveland? I know I don't know anybody who predicted us getting Colston Loveland.
I remember Swifty talked about it, and I was like, okay, like I see it. Like he's a younger guy. He's not Tyler Warren size. Height, yes. Weight, no. But 3 years younger than Tyler Warren, and a lot of people regarded him. But he's the only guy people were trying to trade up for after pick number 5. That kind of speaks volumes a little bit that the Bears were able to go out and get him. And I respect Ryan Poles, who's known for trading back, which he still did a lot during this draft. But sticking to your guns at number 10 and getting Ben Johnson's guy, your new head coach, that's a big deal right there. So I'm pumped about the kid. I think he brings a lot of energy. I think he's a heck of a ball player. And the best part about him is that he's only going up from here. He looks like a slim guy, but you got to consider he's 6'6", what is it, 248, 250? He's a big kid, and he's only going to hit an NFL weight room before when his shoulder gets better. Dude's going to be a monster in 2 years. Look out. It's going to be like a Jimmy Graham kind of guy.
We need a Jimmy Graham kind of guy. All right, Gustavo, do we want to go into stud or dud?
I do.
I
Go,
think we
go
got to
ahead,
introduce
Ron.
him to it. Yeah.
Yes, Ronan, go
So,
ahead and introduce your segment that you created.
yeah, so we created a segment on here called Stud or Dud, where basically we'll give you a name of a player, and if you think that they're going to be a stud this year, or if they're going to be a dud, you just say stud or dud, and then you give your reasoning. So you ready?
Yep, I'm in.
All right, let me pull it up here. Okay, Matthew Golden.
Matthew Golden?
Yeah,
The guy.
Packers guy.
We're talking about
We're
other
going
teams.
universal. We're going
Oh,
universal.
I was
Yeah,
expecting Bears players. Dud. He's played for the Packers.
good, good. All right,
We
Gustavo,
had to test them.
you next.
Yes. I'm so glad you brought that up because we were going to test you. If not, it was show over. Now, one of our own guys, Zal Frazier, people call him the next Reek Woolen. We want your opinion on him.
Dude, stud, 6'3", 190, runs under a 4.4. Like, that kid is crazy fast, big, good athletic ability. I think he'll be a special teamer mainly because we still have Terrell Smith. We still have Jonathan Owens. But if we could convert him to a safety being 6'3", I'm pumped about him out of San Antonio University. I'm in. Stud.
All right, Donovan Jackson.
Oh, jeez. I
NFC
really
North
wanted
guy.
I really wanted him on the Bears. Like, I think everyone did, to be honest.
Mhm.
Um, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go stud just because I like him. Minnesota also has a really good offensive system. He'll develop really well, though. He'll be a stud.
Yeah, absolutely. We kind of felt I was so disappointed he got taken in the first round. He was a projected second round guy, and when I seen Minnesota take him, uh, beat up. Now, one of your own guys we're talking about, Poston Loveland, really going into emphasis why and how he can work with Cole Kmet, because I already know you're going to say stud about him. So I want your opinion on his role, especially people saying that he was way better than Tyler Warren for this offense.
I think that I mean, like when Ben Johnson, I said this a couple days ago on my show, and I think that like it kind of was like it just kind of came out. But I think it was like a subconscious thought when Ben Johnson, a guy that was playing for the Lions, who was arguably the best team in the NFL last year during the regular season, didn't have a shot at getting close to Loveland. Absolutely zero chance. Like they're picking after 25. Colson Loveland's a top 15 guy. The fact that Ben Johnson went to multiple games, multiple Michigan State games during his time with the Lions, and still scouted him and looking at it, looking at outsider looking in, potentially was going to try to trade up for him and convince the Lions to do so to pair of Sam Laporta. Absolute stud. And then the fact that Ben Johnson is in his chair rocking back and forth. Like, I don't know if you guys saw when Javon Dexter Sr. got drafted, but it looked like the freaking house was going to fall down because he was shaking so much and he was so excited. Ben Johnson's in there like he just won the lottery, and which practically he did in his mind, and was just pumped about it. You know he has plans, and you know that in his interviews where he like can't say when he's going to be ready or not, which I'm hoping to see him ready at camp tomorrow. He just wants this guy out there. He's going to be huge for this offense. Him and Cole Kmet are paired for minimum 3 years together. It's exciting stuff. Absolute stud. It's going to expand this offense more than people expect, considering built like a tight end, blocks like a tight end, but plays like a wide receiver. What more can you be excited about?
Now, I got to ask you about a bit of a controversial one. How do you feel about Ruben Hippolyte? Do you think that we reached on him? Do you think that it was perfect? Do you think that there's a plan? How are we feeling about that?
Perfect. He was perfect. I think that the Bears got him. I mean, 4.36 speed at 236 pounds. That guy, I would be terrified to have him running full sprint at me and getting hit. Kind of reminds me of a Lance Briggs kind of deal. Briggs was picked in the third round. Hypolite picked in the fourth round. Really good player overall. Has really good instinct. The problem with him is he can't shed tackles. His size does hurt him. I am not denying that his size is not a factor in the situation, but good instinct. Dennis Allen, who has been around this league for quite some time, said he's already NFL mature ready, and being able to be coached, having the athletic ability. And Dennis Allen even saying he'll be a pro before you like a full blown pro before you know it. Kid's gonna be awesome. I really like the mannerism he brings, just his overall mentality. He knows he's a fourth round pick. He knows he's got to work for it. I think he's a great pickup. As absolute stud, but he was at the right spot because he is slightly undersized, but I like guys that play with a chip on their shoulder. I think he's going to do the same thing.
I'll flip you to another guy, Shamar Turner. How are we feeling about him? I think he's going to be good, but I want to hear your
Our
takes.
guy.
Great energy, good guy, scored a 64.3 PFF run defense score. That's what the Bears need. He has the size. He wants to put on 5, 10 more pounds during the offseason or during camp to be big NFL ready, but he can flux in and out. He's the guy we wanted DeMarcus Walker to be, but this guy's already there. You know what I mean? So I think it was a really good pickup. I'm excited about him. I also love that he walked to the practice field during his first practice versus taking the cart like everyone else because he wanted to take in that he made it to the NFL. And a guy that appreciates that speaks volumes. And I think he's going to be really special for Dennis Allen's defense.
I kind of wanted to touch on that too because he was our first guy to sign. Like that should tell you everything. A lot of these guys were waiting for us to give him fully guaranteed contracts, or if not, to give him a little bit more of a lucrative deal. He didn't care. He signed on the moment they came up to him and approached him. Hey, do you want to sign? And we spoke to another friend of ours. Well, Ronan was able to speak to him, fortunately. And they kind of talked about. He actually made a post recently that Shamar Turner was just so grateful to be in the NFL and was just so ready. And you can tell like he's hungry to start soon. He's ready to go out there and prove what is worth and who he wants to be on this team. I just feel pairing him up with Grady Jarrett, Dexter, Billings, all these guys are going to do wonders for him. And he always going to be day one impact almost immediately. People will want to call him the next Akeem Hicks. So I want your opinion on that, especially given him such a steep comparison.
Next, Akeem Hicks. Ooh, that's a big, that's like a statement. Like you should be honored to be in that circle kind of deal. But also, Akeem Hicks was 6'5", 370 pounds. This kid's 6'3", 284, I believe his height or weight was. The energy wise, absolutely. That totally. Akeem Hicks impact would have to see him with the pads on. That's the thing with all these guys at the end of the day. I'm guilty of it, getting overexcited. I do it on the show all the time. But until these guys are in pads, we're not going to know how they're going to be. That said, though, Shamar Turner has a lot of tape at Texas A&M, and guys pretty good at defensive tackle. So I'm pretty pumped about him, to say the least.
Speaking of another defensive
Honestly,
tackle,
yeah.
talk about our next starter done
Honestly,
on here.
I think that our Akeem Hicks is more Andrew Billings. I think that we're going to retain him for a little while because, like, he fits that role. Like, beyond the energizer, because anybody can be the energizer, that interior guy that's going to plug those gaps, like, you can't, like, no amount of money that you can offer is going to, like, find a guy like that. You kind of just get a guy. And when you get a guy like Andrew Billings who can kind of take that role, like with the Akeem Hicks, because we had terrible run defense. We were like not doing good. And then he comes here and he's one of our best players. He's like constantly getting through, like applying pressure. That's one of the things that I just loved about him. Big Bill. Gustavo, we got to get Andrew Billings jerseys when we go to the
I would
games.
love to. I wouldn't even sell them. I want to get Mr. Bog jerseys. He is a human being. I
DHgate.
love him so much.
DHgate
DJ's got
guys.
him.
You
Mhm.
can you can customize a jersey. All you do is select size, and then it says no number or custom number, and then when you buy it, you put in the comment remarks and you say like 97 billings.
We should just
We
have
know what we're doing
consume.
next.
Consume
Consume
as the last name.
97 consume.
Yeah.
That would be great. I love him, man. We have to get his jersey. Like we want to get the most obscure jerseys possible. So then that's the goal. But our last guy on there, another D tackle, Tylee Williams, went pretty earlier than expected. What are your thoughts on him? People are really upset with him. I mean, even Lions fans were freaking out. That kind of takes me back to the whole Ryan Poles thing. So no perfect GM once again, but since it's the Bears, they love to hate on us. One thing I just wanted to add there, but go ahead. Tylee Williams, stutter dud.
Hmm. I'm
Another
gonna go
Ohio
dud.
guy.
I'm gonna go dud. I'm gonna go dud. Just
Wow.
because, you know, with him, it's how is he gonna work? I mean, like, also, this is an entirely different team now. Like, you lose both your league coordinators, right? I don't know. I don't want to call him a stud, and depends on what happens at camp. It all depends on camp. I could call any Bears player a stud if I want. Like I think we can. I think all of us can. Other teams, I'm just like, ah, good luck. You know what I mean?
I
We
had
have
to
to.
pull this image up. I've had this in my photo library forever of Andrew Billings. Did I show you this, Gustavo, where Andrew Billings had like the Zins in his coat pocket?
Oh,
Did
you
you
did
see
not show
that?
it to me.
That was ridiculous. At camp, he had it in there. That
That's our
was
guy, man. That's Andrew
that's
Billings.
He's one of
that
us.
was oh my God, he is one of us. That's I don't get how they do that though. That stuff like if it's not an energy drink, like you crash so hard off of that stuff. I could not do
I,
that in a competitive environment.
I had to quit it. I
Yeah.
was sponsored by Lucy for quite some time, and I was going through a tin a day. It's incredibly addictive.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but like also in my head, I was like, oh, I'll just do these instead of drinking. Like, there's no calories involved or anything. But then I started like going down the rabbit hole of the like not only mental effects but the physical effects of zinning.
Mhm.
That's why Andrew Billings is so freaking big, dude. Like, you put on so much water weight from nicotine pouches. There are
Ooh.
benefits to them, no denial about it. Like, they give you a huge adrenaline rush. Obviously the buzz is great. I don't know if you guys do them, but at the end of the day, Andrew Billings is definitely consuming because he's got a
Yeah.
couple zinny in him. You know what I mean?
Gustavo, you gotta
Yeah.
pop a 7 milli.
7 million, dude. I gotta be Zen Nation over here. Andrew
Oh
Billings. That's
God.
our guy, man. What do you want to
I
know?
Yo,
had I had the ones from Europe, the 25 Pablos. Those were freaking ridiculous.
all right. I gotta interrupt here. I
It's
go
his
to Europe
time.
for work. I go to Europe pretty often for work. Not for just another year. And I
Mm.
tried those. Dude, there are
Oh my
people
God.
double
Yeah.
decking. I'm like,
50,
you guys
50
are
is a lethal
fifty.
dose. 50 is a
I'm like,
lethal dose too.
I look at one of my coworkers. I'm like, dude, you're gonna pass out. And he goes, nah, man, I'm good. I'm like, I put one in. I was like, like, you know that like
Yeah,
meme of
you
the
get that.
kid. Uh,
You feel like everything from your head down just like start to vibrate. It's ridiculous. And then,
I
oh my
wanted.
God.
I almost called my mom. I was like, yeah. I feel like I'm about to
It's
die.
over. It's over. I
Ah, it's
remember because
over.
I went to Ireland and I tried the Pablos, and it was me and my brother, and he was like, "Yo, you gotta try this. You gotta try this." And he's heavier than me, so he can handle that. And I was like, "Okay." I'm like 150 pounds, so I'm like, "Sure, I'll try it." So I put one in, and they're like wet. You know how like when it gets around your saliva and like
Ugh.
it's horrible. So it's like wet and it tastes like cinnamon. And I remember walking around and it hits me, and I'm like, oh God. Like I didn't know what was going on. I We were walking through the streets of Dublin going towards the Temple Bar, and I'm like, why is everything moving? I had zero drinks that day, especially when you drink on those too. Oh God, it's even worse. Like that's
It is
crazy. All
hard.
right.
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, yeah.
They're
It's,
insanity. Yeah,
Gustavo's
how
so
about
clean.
yeah? I try to be, like my idol Montez. Well, allegedly Montez says he doesn't like go in any of those stuff. So maybe we need to be more like Montez and let him fully indulge in a great season.
Dude, I hope Montez has a huge year.
We need him.
That the other thing too is that people forget that he had a shin injury since week 4, like, and he still played out there because there was no one else. And I don't know if Eberflus was forcing him out there or whatever. I don't blame him for the down year. And Brian Pohl said himself, hardest guy at House Hall right now, Montez Sweat. I'm going. I don't know if you were going to ask. I'm just going to say it right now though. I'm going 13 sack season out of Montez Sweat.
I
Oh,
was about to ask. I was
oh,
about to
okay.
ask. I mean, dude, he had six season he was here. He led both teams, the Commanders and the Bears, when he first came in. You also give him a revamped D line. You give him another edge rusher. You give him one of the best defensive coordinators possible, a good D line coach, a good coaching staff in general, and then you let him be fully healthy. Like you can expect him to be the premier pass rusher. You're paying him to be, fit in for him to be, and just trust him to be. He's a leader in that locker room. He's just the veteran presence you need on every single D line. And I was going to talk about predictions for that whole defense in general. Who was your underdog on that team? Your dark horse, the MVP on that defense? Just talk to me about everybody on that defense for me.
MVP. Let's start with MVP. I think the MVP this year for the Bears defense with Dennis Allen's scheme is going to be Javon Dexter Sr. I think that
Yes.
he's going to feast. That's the guy that he wants. Dennis Allen loves big defensive linemen, 6'6", 310, especially when they're athletic. Look at Cam Jordan. So I think that that's going to be him. So I think that's going to be the MVP of this defense this year. The dark horse, Terrell Smith. I think Terrell Smith.
Oh,
I think Terrell Smith's a solid player. I think that he brings a lot to the table. I think that he's underappreciated. And then what was your last question? What was the last
yeah.
category?
Of course, last category is going to be underrated. We're going to do who's going to be the most underrated guy on that team. Somebody who's really been under overshadowed by another player that's finally going to show how good they truly are this year.
Kyler Gordon. I think Kyler Gordon
Absolutely.
gets a lot of hype. I think he's a good ball player. I think but Dennis Allen's already talked highly of him. You don't pay him to just say like, oh yeah, we're going to pay you. They got big plans for him. And I think that he's going to be a huge impact to this Bears defense.
I also think
I
he's the
agree.
best nickel in the
Yes.
entire league. He is
Yeah.
the best nickel in the whole league. He gets paid like it, and he's just so athletic. You can really put him anywhere on that field, and he's going to make a play for you. Like he is
We should
sheer
blitz him more.
athleticism off the charts, and I think we will. Dennis Allen is very aggressive. He has some very exotic blitz packages. Who do you see being? I guess is Demario Davis. People really feel strongly about Tremaine Edmonds. Do you feel him taking a step up, or do you feel him being kind of underwhelming as we've seen in years past?
I think that he's going to take a step up. I know that he hasn't, quote, lived up to his contract, but still a 100 tackle guy. He played his first year, his first season. He missed all training camp because of an injury. And he was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to play hurt. Still had a decent year, over 100 tackles. I think that he's a good leader. I mean, you don't find many linebackers built like him. Honestly, you look at him, kind of, I mean, he's the same build as Urlacher, 6'4", 6'5", thin but athletic. Tremaine Edmonds, I think, is going to have a huge year. I don't see why not. I know I said everyone's going to have a huge year, but this entire team is going to be stellar compared to the past. And Tremaine Edmonds is the guy that's going to benefit really big from Dennis Allen. And he's playing like he did in the Bills, playing coverage, tip passes. Go, don't be a blitzer, be a coverage guy. That's what Tremaine Edmonds is. That's what he was at or was it Virginia Tech? We almost took
Yes.
him over Roquan Smith. Good ball player. I really, really drives me nuts when people are like, Tremaine is not that good of a ball player. I'm like, he had Matt Eberflus who was unutilizing him. On the outside, TJ Edwards has been utilized correctly, and Dennis Allen's going to do the same thing with him. So overall, both those guys are going to have big years, in my personal opinion.
Now, I want to flip that question real quick and ask, who do you think is going to have a down year? Because, or do you think anybody's going to see like a drop in production?
Um, from the defensive side, I hope people don't have too high expectations on Grady Jarrett. And we signed him, we paid him big money, so there should be expectations, but he is older and he's more of a mentor role. The way his contract is designed is that the Bears can cut him after year 2 and save 18 million in cap. So I think that he's more of a people are like, oh, we got this guy, like he's gonna get a lot of sacks, this and that. Grady Jarrett's not a sack guy, he's a quarterback hurries guy. So underperforming sacks wise, yes. I think the sacks are gonna come from the outside and like the blitz packages, but I still think Grady Jarrett's gonna have 35 plus pressures like he's had year over year over year. But at the end of the day, I think some people are going to be disappointed in the production he's going to put out there, but I still think he's a fantastic ball player. He's going to have a good year. But I think from a Bears Nation perspective, they might be underwhelmed by what the Bears are paying him and what they got him for the defensive line.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
then we just wanted to end off with one more thing and just to let you go. Give us a record prediction for us. And if we make the playoffs this year and how far we truly can go in the playoffs, especially with such a young team and just the overlook for the season, just to end off today's episode.
Yeah, no, first of all, guys, thanks for having me on. Ton of fun. Love the Friday. I love a Friday show. Like, I know a lot of people don't do Friday shows because people go out to dinner. You know, you look at your YouTube analytics in the background,
Not
people aren't
us.
on. Now
Mhm.
you guys are the Friday space, and I love it. Um, I think that the Bears are going to be 10-7. Pumping my, usually I'm a big 17-0 kind of guy, but I think 10-7, and then there's going to be some bad losses, especially in the beginning. But like we said, it's a young team. They're going to learn. They're going to get better. I think they'll make it as a wild card. I think the Lions are going to have one more good year. The Vikings are going to be interesting. because they have technically a rookie quarterback. A lot of their team came back though. They did make some good additions. Green Bay, not too worried about them. Never. They just get lucky. Let's just put that. If they're gonna say we get lucky, they get lucky.
I
I got the
agree.
Bears at I got the Bears at 10-7, second place. I got the Lions at 11-6, but I think Ben Johnson beats Lions both times. And then playoffs. I think they'll make the wild card and they'll lose in the wild card, not on a doink. I think that'll be a competitive game, but I don't think that it's going to go much farther than that. If they do, great, love it. But it's a young team. 2026, that's when you're making your run to the NFC Championship. You got all your teams still back. Like next offseason is going to be boring. I'm just warning Bears fans. Like the last 3 offseason champs, next offseason is going to be boring as hell because we got everybody under contract. There's not going to be much we can do. That said, Ryan Poles might help us content creators out. But 10-7, wild card, bounced in the first round, but at least we made the playoffs. We got something to look forward to.
Absolutely. I have us at 10-7 as well. I say we probably end up in the wild card against the 49ers and just lose to an experienced team and just end it out there, to be honest, because they're a lot more experienced, a lot better, I guess, in terms of playoff success. But I think once we win in there, we get a taste, kind of get these guys even hungrier for next season, and they give it their all next season. We really go make a massive push and kind of be this year's Commanders in 2026. I think that's where we're going to be aiming at pretty soon. Ronan, what do you think?
I mean, I always have us at 17-0. I had us at 17-0 when we signed Byron Pringle, so I don't think my opinion
Let's
really
do it, man.
matters.
Peak cinema over here. But Nick,
Yeah,
we just want to extend our
yeah,
greatest thank yous to you. We know you're a very busy guy. I mean, you
yeah.
could have
Thank
just
you,
went
dude.
home and chilled after that Cubs game, and you chose not to. So we just wanted to give you a massive shout out, massive thank you. And we
Yeah,
always ask
serious
our
thanks,
guests one
man.
thing, and they're okay with us. Could you say shout out, Bear Down Breakdown, as we have all our guests do? We would appreciate you.
You got it. Guys, thanks for having me on. Excited to be here. Excited for this season. Can't wait for it. Bear down and how do I say it one more time?
Bear Down Breakdown.
All right. And guys, thank you for tuning in this episode and bear down breakdown.
Yes, it is.
All right, bear down breakdown. And bear down breakdown.
Beautiful. We
Yes.
appreciate you so much. Thank you, Nick. You have an amazing rest of your day. We appreciate you.
All
All
right,
right, guys, you
appreciate you,
have a good one.
brother.
All right.
Have
We'll
a
talk
good
to you
one.
soon. See ya.
Peace, guys.
All right, sweet.
Ronan Clark, man, that was a fantastic episode. What a
That
guy. He
was
knows
a
balls.
very good episode. Yeah.
You said
Wait, he
it was going to
what?
be a fun. Huh?
You said he knows what?
I said he knows ball.
I
Why?
thought you said he knows balls. I'm like,
No.
what?
I said he knows ball. Like he's genuinely really, really smart when it comes to various things. And you said via message it was going to be a fun interview. And it
Mhm.
absolutely was. He was one of my top 3 favorite guests you've had so far.
Well, you just haven't been on when I the cool
That is
guest, but
true.
he is awesome, man. Like
You could
I've,
tell he just loves,
oh
he loves
yeah.
talking about the Bears. You could tell
Oh my God,
passion.
like he's
His
so
passion is off the
passionate about the
charts.
Bears. He is one of those guys that like is
You can have a
like
sit down
he's
conversation
dialed
with.
in. Yeah, you could talk
True.
about the Bears all day with him. But low key, I felt a little undialed in today. I'm not gonna lie. Like I was getting that
Unbelievable.
fluoride stare. I've been drinking so much water just to try and like flush my water weight. I actually didn't know that the Zins give you water weight. I was like,
They
really?
do.
Like what?
And he knows
Really?
he's a ball knower, man. I'm telling you. Vic
I
Roti
don't.
is the
Okay,
guy.
here's the thing. I'm also on like every once in a while diuretics, and I start my day with like 3 cups of coffee. So it's also like, hey,
Unbelievable.
yeah. But
Yeah,
yeah, you do kind of notice it, but you got the jawline and everything, so it's
the
it's
water's
good.
doing it, man. So
And I
we
mean,
just want
like
to
I'm
give
I'm
our thank
also
yous,
I'm also really skinny too.
making it work out here. And we
Yeah.
just want to give our biggest thank yous to everyone watching this episode. This is
Yes.
officially the
Thank you,
end of episode 8 of Bear Down Breakdown with your host, Gustavo Arriaga, my co-host.
and Clark. Thanks for watching, guys.